When I begin to talk about missions and when I begin to talk about Latin American leadership development, one of the questions that nearly always comes from those I'm talking to is, what is Latin American leadership development? I'd like to give you just a brief introduction in this video. Latin American leadership development is part of a network of Christians who are working together to take the gospel to Latin America. Through evangelism, discipleship, and leadership training, spiritually healthy and mature Christians and churches are being developed, churches and Christians capable of reproducing themselves. Our primary focus of the work is on training those who will train others, as we read in 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2, recognizing that the most effective kingdom workers are those national Christians who understand culture and language and are capable of developing friendships and relationships to bring the gospel to their own nations. So we've been working on this project for now 10 years, moving into our 11th year, and you can see just a quick overview of the places that we have been working. I've just put one dot for each country. In almost all of those countries, we have multiple locations. The mission is to help develop strong Latin American churches that are committed to biblical principles and honoring Jesus Christ as Lord. The biblical model for this mission work is found in Acts chapter 14. Actually, it's part of a little bit of a history. When I first began to think about how we could most effectively help the churches that I was encountering in Latin America, beginning in my first trip to Latin America in 1994, I wanted to see two things happen. I wanted to see that the needs of the churches could be met, the need to develop healthy churches, the need for discipleship, spiritual development, equipping, evangelism, training, church planting, but I also wanted to make certain that we could use a biblical model. So as you begin to think about Paul's model for mission work and you read about the first missionary journey, the first time that a team was officially sent out by a local church, we read a summary in Acts 14 verses 21 through 23 that says that they revisited the churches that had been established for the purpose of strengthening the disciples and of comforting them or exhorting them, encouraging them that they would continue in the faith, and also of assisting them in the naming of leaders. And that is in fact the vision and the goal of Latin American leadership development, to help local churches mature into healthy churches, to develop them and to equip them so that they will be able to identify spiritual leaders and the planting of more churches by meeting the basic needs of the Latin American churches. I see this as God's mission, and I have made it my mission, and I want to, in this brief video, to encourage you to think about how it could be your mission. I and those who work alongside me facilitate and mentor the work of the national churches by providing seminars and by training in evangelism, discipleship, Bible study, and leadership, developing spiritually strong families, leaders, churches that are self-sustaining, self-directed, self-reliant, self-edifying, and self-duplicating as missionary churches. We do that in a variety of ways. We help in some cases with the improvement on currently existing buildings. We help by teaching, by training in evangelism. Over the past 10 years, over 20,000 people have become believers in Christ and have been baptized in the churches that we work with. Dozens of churches have been planted. Countless churches have been able to develop and to name spiritual leaders following biblical teachings about church organization. And so I wonder if your church is ready to embark on a journey that will change lives. Are you personally ready to help change lives? I invite you to join with us on this journey. While my primary office is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the church office of my host church is in McAlester, Oklahoma. Write me if you would like to have information about how best to contact me. At my website, you can see bobyoungresources.com, and there is an email also, and you can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, bro.bobyoung, on WhatsApp, or on Twitter. I want you to think and pray, please, about how God's mission that has become our mission can now be your mission. So as we think about Latin American leadership development, we invite you to join with us as we provide resources for Latin American churches, and as we continue in coming years to see the same kind of exponential growth both in numbers of Christians and in the number of congregations as missionary churches are established by the national churches with whom we work. God bless you. I'll be praying for you as you think about your role in Latin American leadership development.